Hello, everyone. I am on today to do something lighthearted and frivolous. I was inspired by some of the YouTube videos that I've been watching recently. I've been trying to catch up on my video watching. I've only just recently returned from a trip to, well, it was, a week ago. I returned from traveling through Iceland, Sweden, and Norway. So while I've been catching up on YouTube watching, I've just been so tickled by content creators who are, exploring their decks, having fun, laughing at certain decks and images. Renee from Meadowlark Mystic, she has recently put out a tarot and oracle deck collection series, and throughout those videos she's just laughing at some of the images in her decks, and it's just so contagious. And I think we could all use a little bit of laughter. And it got me to thinking, okay, what are the decks, or what are certain images that in my decks that immediately come to mind that make me chuckle or that amuse me. So I thought we would just kind of go through some decks. Certainly these aren't all of them, but just a few, an excuse to have fun looking at our cards. So the first deck is the Hush Tarot. And let me clarify, this entire deck I do not find humorous, but I do find certain images humorous for sure. Here are the backs, and I think I have most of the images I'm talking about on the top here, but it's really these cards where you have like an image of a human mask, or floating face, or a figure who looks like they've died recently, and then you have just wildlife hanging out around said figure or face, and like playing around, like this card here, which I've modified this deck and renamed some of the titles to ones that better suited my associations. But for this, so I think this is a funny image. You've got this very realistically human-looking mask, and this kitten peering through it, and I just think it's funny. And the same thing with like this card especially, because you have this figure. Are they dead? I mean, I don't know, their eyes open, but they might as, I mean, they're probably on their way there. I mean, just by the pallor. And this bird seems to know as much, and it's proceeding to make a habitate on their face, like on their head, which I think is very, very amusing. Same here. Again, you have this like another humanoid mask, and these cute little kittens peering out from behind. And the rest of the deck isn't like that for me, especially when I first got this deck. I wasn't sure how it was going to be. I thought maybe it would be very unsettling and uncomfortable, and certainly there are a few images that are a little more difficult than others, but on the whole I have not found this deck to be super, super confronting. And if anything, like, again, like this crone here, coming up from underneath this like humongous cat, I just find that very amusing, even though I'm pretty sure it's not meant to be, but I do. And so that kind of brings, for me, an unexpected levity to this deck, which I know that some people, find a bit creepy maybe, or yeah, uncomfortable, but I really, and I thought it'd be uncomfortable too, but I love that. I love the pairing of human and wildlife, especially when, you know, they're like, yeah, making nests on, you know, their heads, or just going about their day and fucking around without a care in the world next to like a decomposing face. The next deck I am going to talk about is called the Tarot of the Dead. This is an out-of-print deck, though I think you can find it online. Like I found this on eBay but this was, you know, a few years back, for not that expensive of a price. I can't say how it is currently though on the market. And I did modify like the shit out of this. I cut off like the borders with the titles, because the titles were in both English and Spanish and looked messy to me. I also did I colored in like the Roman numerals and the titles to make them pop a little more, like stand out a little more, because this is a very kind of detailed deck. There's a lot going on in the images. Oh, and also just a quick warning, the suit of air or swords in this deck are comprised of pistols. This is a pip deck. And so if that's something that you think will bother you, then please feel free to skip ahead a little bit. But I find this deck funny just because of all the skeletons, like the style of the art. This card I find to be pretty facetious. I mean, this is the only living human that we see in the deck. They are with child, and the card is death. I mean, come on. Have a sense of humor. That's kind of funny, isn't it? I mean, certainly people could read it all sinister, but that's not how I read it. So, again, I love skeletons, and you know, this to be honest has gone in and out of my purgatory, or my overnight vag, or whatever you'd like to call it. But I keep bringing it back out because I do really find these images kind of funny, and yeah, just the skeletons. Like, I think it's funny. You've got the coffin, so this is the suit of water. You have coffins. And yeah, this actually a suit of earth or pentacles are reals. And so again, the renaming of the suits also contributed to my wanting to modify it. But the suit of fire or wands are pens or quills. Pistols is air. So yeah, I think the color palette also lends to it feeling kind of light in tone. And it actually reminds me a lot of it has the vibe of like the spaghetti westerns that my dad would watch when he'd come home from work. You know, that was what was playing on TV. And so I would watch them along with him, of course, not knowing what the hell was going on in those movies. But yeah, so these skellies are fun. And there are certain ones in particular that really, like High Priestess, got the Knight, the Lovers. I think one of the funnier ones is the Emperor. Let's see if we can find that. Hold on. Where are you? I mean, essentially, like the majors to me are funny. This is also another funny one, the Hierophant. Like vacationing in Florida. Here we go. This is the one that I was looking for, the Emperor. I mean, this certainly dates the deck, and it's just so nostalgic to my childhood. You know, you have this huge computer monitor, the rotary phone. It just, yeah, it screams 1980s, 90s. So this is a fun one for sure. Next deck that makes me laugh. the new Palladini Tarot. And if any of you have been on my channel for a while, then you know why this makes me laugh. It didn't used to make me laugh until people started coming into my comment section, cough, cough, Megan, cough, cough, Sarah, and talking about how pallid and sickly these figures look. And now that's all I can see. I mean, I didn't used to see that. I enjoyed the colors. I liked this better than the Aquarian Tarot, also by David Palladini, same creator. So I was really happy to have this deck. And Meg is the one that gifted it to me. Thank you, Meg. And also thank you for tainting it. No, I'm just kidding. Sweaty, according to Meg. Tuberculosis-ridden people, according to Sarah, Sunset Bow Tarot. And I have to live with that now, and it's fine. I'm not... I'm okay. I don't think he looks like he has tuberculosis. I think he looks pretty, he looks pretty healthy. His pallor's pretty good. Anyway, yeah. A very fluid deck to read. And I don't care that they look like they're about to die. Anyway, okay, so next one is the Millennium Tarot. And I don't think it's surprising, once again, if you're familiar with my channel and the decks that I show, that this would be on there. This makes me laugh because it's cosplay, and cosplay is always just so fun, and the dudes make me laugh. Like this dude, he makes me laugh. I mean, like the look on his face is just, I don't know, it's a fun one. It's really the dudes, like this guy, and they're all good looking, and they're all models. So but they all hit the gym religiously, and they have tits bigger than mine, and that's probably why I find it so funny, and a great deck to read with. It works. It is one that if I'm going to do Thoth, I'm going to pick this one over the OG, just because it adds, again, that level of, I don't know, just, levity to me. So, or for me, rather. And of course, now we're getting all these pips, which are beautiful, but like this dude here with his stag helmet situation. Yeah, and I know that I was going to I have promised, per some viewer requests, that I would do an unfair comparisons between this deck and the next one I'm about to mention, which you can probably guess, again, for those of you who might know me. But I'm going to do an unfair comparison between the Millennium Tarot and Tarot de la Nuit. And, this makes me giggle for similar reasons. It is so OTT, and it is cosplay, photo manipulation, campiness at its finest. And I just revel in that. I enjoy it. I do not feel guilty about it at all. It's not a guilty pleasure. It is I legit love this deck. Once again, dudes are model. They're all models. The dudes, they drink their protein shakes, and they do what they need to do to look how they look. And you've got all these cool references, like pop culture, film references and such. And so, this, I don't understand. Sorry, I mean, she looks like she's. This I just find so hilarious, that she's shiny like this, and she has no nipple, and I don't know if that's like some kind of chastity like patch that she's wearing or photo manipulation. It just looks odd to me and funny, but otherwise, but there are other beautiful images in this deck that I've talked about. I've definitely talked about this over and over and over before, but this is a deck that'll always, if I feel like I just want to have like a good time and not necessarily take things super, super seriously, this is a deck that I would reach for. As well as it being a deck that I could very well reach for the deeper questions like this. Come on. Oh my gosh. Campiness. In all its glory, I love it so much. Next up is the Luna Soltero. This is the first edition. And there are certain cards in this deck that, this one right here, I think this is, I think I've put them on top here. This is so funny to me, just all the blood splatter. You've got this foot dangling from like, from the edge, and it's just, this person peeking out, these two from underneath, like just a very low cover that in all respects would just not protect them at all. You've got, could be a self-portrait on any given evening. What I appreciate about this deck is that some of these hard cards, like the 9 of Swords, the 10 of Swords, like look at, I appreciate that, again, there can be some humor assigned to this imagery. He's not dead. He's not on some like ocean bank, like with swords impaled in his back. He's got one in his head, and other places, but he's not bleeding everywhere. It's hilarious, and also again provides that just a lighter touch. Like this one, the Tower, another kind of difficult card where you have them falling, and again this like a nod to like the disproportionate specs of like the humans compared to the Tower. You've got a brick that is hitting this dude in the head. And in general, like it's just some of these characters, the way their expressions are kind of funny. So they're a little bit, they're a little bit, since it's, this kind of cartoon drawing, some of them can look a little bit eccentric or strange. I don't know. But in like the best way. Like I love this deck, seriously. And, with all these decks, even though that there are cards that I might find particularly hilarious, it doesn't negate the fact that they can give you some serious readings. The decks are not without some direct answers, and punching you in the teeth. So yeah, this deck and I, we didn't always get along, but we have come to an understanding. Next deck is the Anna K Tarot. For similar reason as the Luna Soul, it's the people and the way they're drawn. If you want to hear more about that, you can watch the Three Girls episode where we have some very lively conversation about this deck and the way these figures are depicted. But, they're funny looking. It's like the movie Fargo, where certain characters are describing Steve Buscemi, his character as like, he's kind of funny looking. And that's how I would describe the people in this deck. And that's what makes me laugh. Like just some of their expressions and just the way they're drawn. But again, like then you have images like this. So it's, it's I'm sorry. Like, I don't know his face. I don't know. A great deck. A great deck. Another kind of controversial image with the Empress. Kind of divided opinions about that one. Yeah. Like this guy and his expression kind of reminds me of Neville Longbottom from Harry Potter. Final deck that I've chosen is the Tarot of the Magical Forest, which I have modified to take off the borders and the multilingual titles. I mean, you could probably guess why I think this is a funny deck. It's because these animals are just, they're googly eyes. Yeah, what more can I say? They make me laugh. And one can make up so many stories about like what could be going on in their minds. But it's just, oh, no, this is adorable. This is actually really adorable. Like this boar that this fox is riding. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And, you know, just, and the animals chosen are ones that I really love, like this. Oh my god, it's so funny. So freaking funny. This is the death card, and like, it's great. It's great. I mean, I had rehomed this once, but then had the lucky opportunity to get it back. And so, yeah, I'm glad that I did, because it's a good one. It's a good one. And oh my goodness. Yeah, I just really enjoy it. Okay. I hope that you found this video entertaining. It was all meant in good fun. As I've said before on my channel, like I think that tarot should be fun as it is serious. You know, decks are great for beating the snot out of you when you need it. And if they can make you laugh too, that's fantastic, because laughter is great medicine. So, do you have any particular decks or card images that come to mind that make you laugh or chuckle, that you find hilarious? If so, please do let me know what they are by dropping a comment below. I hope that you are all doing well, and until the next time, much love and take care.